Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got a PPQ on the table. This one happens to be an M1 or a Classic, but if you talk to somebody that has been into PPQ since their initial release, this is the PPQ. The other one's the M2. The biggest difference that you're going to find is that the Classic or M1 has the paddle release. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this thing up and talk about it a little bit. Of course, it is unloaded. So the PPQ, when it was introduced by Walther, became very popular very quickly, primarily because of its amazing trigger and really good ergonomics. It holds 15+1, but you get a 3-finger grip. It's not an overly large gun. It kind of fits into the compact size, roughly the Glock 19 size. And it has all the features that you want. It has replaceable back straps, has a 3-slot Picatinny rail. It's got serrations on the front of the trigger guard. Now on the original one, the Classic, this one, the mag release is ambidextrous. You can get it from either side, and it's a large enough paddle that you can easily get to it. Just a swipe down gets to it. Some of the paddle releases are kind of short like this, and they're really hard to get. This one's actually relatively easy to hit, and you'll also see the slide release is ambidextrous. So if you've got somebody that's a lefty that's looking for a friendly pistol, the PPQ is that. Now on the newer one, the M2, you can reverse the mag catch, but on the Classic, like this one, it just comes ready to go, and even the takedown is easy. So pretty much what you've got here is the perfect self-defense, range, home defense pistol all in one. The sights are really clear, easy to see 3-dot sights. Some variations of it, the rear sight is adjustable. This one is not. But they are dovetailed, so you can push the sight out, and the front sight uses kind of a hex screw that goes up into it that flares out a little piece. You back the hex screw off, the sight will pop out. So the sights are easy to change if you want to put night sights or fiber optics or something like that. And of course it's got front and rear serrations that are really easy to get a hold of. It's really easy to operate this thing. So overall it's a very easy to live with pistol. It's 7.1 inches front to back. It's 5.3 inches tall with the flush mag installed, which does fit in there nice and flush, and it's 1.3 inches thick, so it's not a very thick pistol. Very easy to use for concealed carry purposes. It's got a 4-inch barrel. There is a 5-inch barrel available according to Walther's website, and they have some instructions on where you can find it. This also used to be available in a 40, but I'm getting the impression from looking at Walther's website that the Classic or M1 is no longer available in 40, just 9mm. And it weighs 24.5 ounces. This one has, or the PPQ series in general, has all of the typical safeties that have become common on the polymer wonders. It has the split trigger to prevent inertial drops, and of course it has an internal striker block. So this is a drop-safe gun, and I haven't heard of a single instance where a PPQ has drop fired, so their drop safeties appear to be pretty good. Talking about the trigger, it's rated at 5.6 pounds, but this one here tested at 4.5 pounds. So pull the magazine out, make it a little bit easier to cycle it. Minimal take-up, and a little bit more than minimal, but it's smooth take-up. You're on a short, crisp wall. Nice, crisp, short reset, and back on the wall. No take-up after the reset. These things just have awesome triggers. These have really kind of quickly become the standard for polymer pistol triggers. If you're making a new polymer pistol and you're trying to set your trigger up, the PPQ is what you're trying to be as good as. And very, very few achieve getting as good as, and I really haven't encountered one that did better. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing apart so that you can see the internals of it. It's relatively easy to do, similar to a lot of them. You pull the trigger, of course you would have cleared it, and of course I've got the trigger pulled. Now you don't absolutely have to do this like you do with a Glock, but it does make it easier. If you just squeeze it a little bit to pull it back to take tension off this, comes apart much easier. The internals of this are relatively simple. The fire control group's a little more complicated than some of the others, but again, that awesome trigger, I'm willing to give it that complexity. You've got steel rails here at the back, both sides, and steel rails at the front, and everything is clean and well done in here. These are very well manufactured guns. And then if I go to the slide, it has a single wafer style captive recoil spring. Very nicely done barrel. all machined. Nice polished feed ramp. And it even appears to be relatively highly polished on the internals of the barrel. The front of the slide, you can see right there, that's where that little hex bolt that I was talking about. You loosen that and those wings will contract and you can pop the sight out. And of course you got the drop safety piston here and the striker hook there. Relatively easy to reassemble. Just drop the barrel back in. Line the recoil spring up. The recoil spring, being captive, goes in there pretty easily. And you're back in business. So it's an easy to live with gun. If you're having to deal with it in the field, it's easy to do. There's no tools involved. And to some extent, those takedown levers are even easier to use than those on a Glock. So it's basically fun at the range, reliable for defense, and easy to maintain. What else could you want in a really nice polymer pistol? The combined trigger, ergonomics, this texture looks a little weird, but it's actually quite comfortable to hold. Light finger grooves that really don't interfere, even if they don't perfectly line up with your fingers. 3-dot sights that are really easy to see. What I found is this is a very reliable gun. These eat anything. They just work. And it's easy to acquire the sights and easy to shoot well. They just work well. One thing I will note, the M1 and M2 mags are not interchangeable. There's differences in where the notch is as when they change the magazine release. And if the paddle style release is what you like and you like the classic and you've been thinking about getting one, you probably ought to do it. I don't know how much longer they'll keep manufacturing these. I know they made enough of them that you'll probably find them on the new old stock for a while, but I don't think that they're going to be around forever. And if you look at the M2, primary difference you'll see is the mag release. Button on one side can be reversed to the other. It still retains the ambidextrous slide stop slide release and the nice sights and the nice trigger, but these are just easy to work with. I've always found these mag releases easy to work with. You may fumble it occasionally if you haven't handled the gun in a long time and you may be trying to do this, but instead of having to try to stretch your thumb, you just sweep your finger down. Either one, either your trigger finger or your other finger, and you've got it done. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Gunstreamer, Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. Thank you.